Hey everybody, Fifth Horseman here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and today we are launching an extraplanetary launchpad's base to Eve. However, we're not going to end up at Eve. We're going to end up at Gilly, because we don't want to land on Eve. Eve is scary. John Droid is our pilot. You are taking us to Eve. You have your new 3 stars. That's going to be awesome for you. And you are bringing Francois along with you as a scientist. Brian as chief engineer, Jonathan as secondary engineer, and 2 engineer drones with you are going there. And what you're going to do is you're going to land on ELP base on Gilly, and you're going to use that ELP base to build a Kethane base. Carbonite, a Carbonite base. And we are going to launch from Mount Snowy Launch Complex, which is going to give us a little bit of bonus Delta V because we're going to be so high up in the air. And there's a couple other reasons that you'll find out in a moment. This is going to be a moderately complex launch. We are launching at dusk. Normally, I do not want to launch at dusk. I want to launch at dawn. But there's a very specific reason we're going to want to launch at dusk, and that is to minimize the Delta V it's going to take to get to Eve. A lot of us, you, me, everybody, has launched from Kerbal Space Center and set up their ejection to Eve, and then realized that they were coming in way south of Eve or way north of Eve. And this technique that I'm going to do here is going to save me 400, 500 Delta V fairly easily. So that's going to be awesome, and that savings is passed on to you in that you don't have to watch me do mid-course correction halfway to Eve or whatever. And also, you get to see how I do it, and ideally do this yourself. We could do this from Kerbal Space Center if we wanted to, just by launching a certain amount of degrees to the south. And I honestly don't know what that is, but probably somewhere around, I don't know, 10 or so degrees, or to the north, I should say. Well, I guess you could do it to the south if you were doing it at sunrise. But anyway, doesn't matter. The fact that I'm launching here at sunset from a fairly northern location, which I'll show you in the map mode as soon as we get out of the atmosphere and are in a coasting here. We're launching from a northern area. So our orbit is going to be where we're at sunrise. It's going to be a little too far north. When we're at sunset, when we're at sunset, it's going to be too far north. When we're at sunrise, it's going to be too far south. And as we cross across those during the daytime, which is when you eject to Eve, we're going to be passing from the south to the north, which is going to give us some northern oomph on our orbit. And that's really important because the first time we pass Eve, which this is the first Eve window coming up in just a few days, the first time we come to Eve, Eve is in the south. So we actually want to eject to the north so that we come in heading towards the south on the other side of the orbit when we're intersecting Eve. And this is going to basically put all that Delta V that you would normally do into a plane change. It's going to do that right here on the launch. So we're spending, maybe a couple dozen Delta V on the launch, not launching directly east, and we're rolling that into hundreds of Delta V savings in the future. Okay, we're up to about 85 kilometers is our apoapsis, and this is perfect. We still got a decent amount of fuel left in the sky, and what we're going to want to do here is turn off trajectories, because we don't need that right now. What we're going to want to do is, at this apoapsis, we are going to want to just burn enough to get our periapsis up above the atmosphere. We don't want to do anything crazy here. We're just doing your standard get out of the atmosphere sort of thing. Watching my periapsis here climb up, and when it gets to 81, give it a little tap. There we go. 85 by 84. That is perfect. Okay, we are in orbit. We are set. Now, what we want to do here is we're going to be launching this way, so we go north, like I said. Now, what we're going to do is I'm not going to follow this maneuver node. I'm just setting it up so that we know the direction of the maneuver node. And we're going to come around here. Let's go ahead and bring our solar panels out. This is the same extraplanetary launchpad base I landed on Minmus. It's there's nothing wrong with it. It's going to get the job done. It's going to build its replacement, and then it's going to build that Carbonite base. So okay, so we got sunlight. So let's aim at our maneuver node. And let's fast forward ourselves to our burn. And now, like I said, I don't actually care about this maneuver node. All I care about is the direction it wants me to go, and the fact that my stage here has 609 meters per second and about 17 seconds to burn. So when I get 8 seconds from this maneuver node, then I know I'm going to want to start burning. And all we're doing is using this engine, the last of what's left of this engine, to burn up our apoapsis so we don't have to do as much work with the tiny little engine on this guy. Okay, he is now out of fuel, and we don't care about him anymore except for the fact that we want to recover him. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. And I just realized I didn't change the staging here from the automated setup it was before. We're going to want to disconnect him and run these separatrons at the same time. But we don't want to do that now. We want to do that out here at the apoapsis. So I'm going to set up a little forward burn maneuver node here to get the angle that we want, or the direction that we want. We want this guy facing prograde out at his apoapsis. So we want him to be facing retrograde roughly right now. So that when he fires, these things will push this guy backwards and back into the atmosphere. Okay, and as I said before, I don't actually care about this maneuver node. I'm going to change this guy to prograde. All I care about is being aimed in the right direction. Oh, we're in the dark here, but we have plenty of battery. Is being aimed in the correct direction at our apoapsis so that when we hit this thing, we get the maximum benefit from the separatrons that are going to be aiming backwards. Now, I don't usually use separatrons because I don't like them very much. I like to build my rocket to not need them, but in this case, they're actually serving a purpose in slowing this guy down enough so he goes into the atmosphere. In 2, 1, 0, now. And yeah, the first spacebar never works when you change the staging. I forgot about that. So, now this guy's fine. His periapsis is at 85, so we don't need to worry about him. He's going to be safe. What we do worry about, though, is this guy. His periapsis is 56, which is actually a little bit higher than I was hoping it would be. I was hoping it would be down in the 40s or 30s. It's probably going to take a couple orbits to deorbit this guy, and honestly, I'm not 100% sure I want to go through that. Let's do the fun part. I won't show you this. I'll show you when that thing is coming back in the atmosphere, if I bother doing it. This guy, though, we need to control from here, where our pilot is. John Droid. John Droid is our pilot, yes. You now have control of the vessel. We want you to be aimed prograde when the time comes down here. But what we want to do here is we want to set up a maneuver node somewhere along this line to eject us out. So we get, now here, check this out. So we set Eve as our target. Our descending node is at 3 degrees, which is high. You know, like, we would much rather have it be at 0. But it doesn't matter here, because as we pull this thing down, that's where we're going to be meeting Eve. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm adding radial and prograde to kind of move these things towards each other. And boom, there's our encounter with Eve. And I don't know how good it is. Yeah, see, we're coming in at a crazy angle, but it really doesn't matter. Because let's go ahead and, let's see, we want to add... We're going to bring the radial up, actually, and then the prograde down like this. Just dragging these things closer to Eve as we go. Because we can fix this once we get to Eve. We just want a really nice close encounter so that when we get into Eve's sphere of influence over here, we can tweak which direction we come in so that we swing around and get a connection somewhere with Gilly's orbit. Yeah, it's not going to let us do it. Well, we'll have to wait until we're out here. But basically, we're going to burn ourselves so that we're coming in this way. We're going to swing around and then arrow brake so that we come out right at Gilly's orbit on its apoapsis up here from Eve, where it's moving the slowest, and it'll make it the cheapest possible way to do this. And this burn is 727 meters per second, which is about how much a burn is to, or well, actually it's less than what a burn would normally be to Eve, with the exception that, if you look here, we already have a decent amount of this burn already. This is about what it would be just to burn to get this, and then you'd have to do the 400 and some odd meter per second burn to fix it. So that's why we're doing that. So this is exciting. We are going to come around here. Let's just go ahead and swing ourselves around. Now, we don't know how long this burn's going to take, is one of the big problems with this burn. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do a test burn when we get down to our 3-minute mark here. And we basically need to burn this whole way like this. So hopefully we won't crash into the atmosphere. I am going to be watching my, my descending node here. Fairly surely. See, this is actually telling me I am going to go into the atmosphere. This is a problem. I'm going to actually hit the X key. Well, you know what? We can always send up another ship. Let's go ahead and try it and see what happens. There you go. Our periapsis is in the atmosphere now, which cannot be a good thing. I'm going to actually close my solar panels just in case. And I'm going to turn off aimed at the maneuver node. We're just going to turn on regular stability assist. And I'm going to delete this maneuver node now, and we are just going to burn until we see the encounter here. There we go. There's our encounter. Now, I don't know how much being in the atmosphere is going to affect that, but I guess we're going to find out. And I wish the trajectories mod would show us. All it's showing us is that we're going to be in the atmosphere. And we do... Actually, we've already left the atmosphere. We're heading upward, not downward. We have successfully ejected ourselves to Eve through the atmosphere. I think we did awesome. Okay, so now... Let's focus view on Eve and actually get this thing a little bit better. I think if we keep burning, we'll kind of bring this in a little bit. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a little mid-course correction here. Not really even mid-course. Let's do a correction. Let's do it right here. Why not? If I use precise node to... I don't even know which direction to go, so I'm just going to try everything here. That seems to be better. That seems to be better. So we basically want these two things. Yeah, something kind of like that. So that we come in on this side and then come through the atmosphere and then come out here and touch Gilead. Then that we'll be able to work on. We'll be able to worry about that when the time comes. Okay, solar panels back out. You guys are on your way to Eve. I am excited for you. Okay, meanwhile on Minmus, our engineer drones are showing up to populate the extraplanetary launch pad base that's coming up here. And I just realized I want to give it a little bit of this way. Oops. Kind of like so is the way we want to come down. It's going to be kind of dark, but we'll deal with it. And they're going to do this burn. These engines here do not have any fuel left in them. The fuel's all in this guy, but we're still going to hold on to these until we're on a collision course with the moon, so we can drop them and they'll crash into the moon. Or moon. You know what I mean. Minmus. Going to do this all in map mode, which I don't normally do. But as soon as we lose our periapsis here, I staged away those engines. And now we're coming straight down right to here. As soon as this is here, I'm going to hit X, and we're going to close the maneuver node alarm here. And now this is looking good. We're coming in right over this base. If we say to stop right here, that should basically do it. It is 163 meters per second. It's a 1-minute burn. That is basically nothing in this ship. I want to go and be in surface mode so we know how we're approaching this base, and it's looking pretty good. I have learned from the past that you can't really trust whether or not this thing is aiming in the correct direction simply because of the way the planet turns and stuff. However, I think we can safely burn a little bit this way. just to get him like that. And then we're going to aim retrograde. These guys don't have to be right up next to him, but they'd like to be close, so they don't have to walk. They seem very happy about their situation. At least number 2 does, and number 3 does. Number 1 looks a little scared, but he'll be happy once we're landed on the ground. It's like I corrected too much one direction, as I usually do. So I'm correcting it back. I think I'm just going to go into regular stability assist so I can kill the horizontal as fast as possible, because obviously I'm going to overshoot this guy. By a lot. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. What am I doing? Actually getting a little worried that we're going to kill these guys. Actually getting a lot worried we're going to kill these guys. Oh boy. We killed 4 of our engineers. And if we didn't kill them before, we just killed them now. Things could have gone better. The good news is nobody who wasn't an engineer, a drone engineer, was on this plane. The bad news is landing this is going to be fun. We're gonna just aim this thing at the retrograde. We are killing its velocity slowly. That was fairly terrible. I will accept full responsibility for that. I spun that thing around without even thinking about why or how or what. But we can save 6 of these guys by just getting them landed, and then we will truck them manually the 2 point whatever kilometers. Okay. That is hilarious. The SAS holds him up. Which direction is that? It's kind of... Oh, he's still set to aim... Can we aim at target? We can. Oh, that's anti-target. Let's aim at the target. Okay, now let's roll ourselves around. I don't believe I'm doing this. Actually, I do believe I'm doing this. Landing gear doesn't really matter that much anymore. Okay, let's turn stability assist on. We're just going to get these guys a little bit closer than they are currently. Why, yes, Mission Control, I do think this is a great idea. I believe 1, 2, and 3 might have been the ones who died because they're no longer showing up here. 14 doesn't seem to understand what happened, which is fine. 7 and 9 seem a little bit happier now too. Everybody's fine with what's going on here. Okay, now we are going to aim retrograde again. Or I'm going to cheat it this way a little bit. Okay. Just going to come down at a couple meters per second. Just land these guys, and then we'll deal with the repercussions of, you know, accidentally killing 4/10 of the crew once we get down. Okay, there we go. We are landed. We don't want to kill them by aiming target or whatever. Okay, you guys are fine. Okay, everybody's gonna hop out. Turn your lights on. And we're going to get you guys into this base here to up production. And this base actually has a bit of, it actually has something that we're building, which might actually be done by now. Although it's, well, no, the sun is going to rise soon, isn't it? So we're going to get you guys in here, and then we're going to check out what this place is like. Who all's in here? Yeah, Original Canadian's in here. I think, yeah, we're going to leave you in there. We're going to leave you in there for now. You can chill out with the drones. Okay, the guys are in there. You'll notice here, if we check this thing out, our productivity is now 13, and it was like 6 before or something like that. So we have a much better productivity than we had before. And if we build more of these things, or the crew capsule that came with extraplane launch pads, the big blue thing, we'll even have better productivity. And one of our engineers had to sit outside because we had Original Canadian came out and got up here. But in the base, we have all the drones and then Moose. Moose is basically running the show. Also, we have a thing to finalize, so we're going to build it. And I've moved these two things, so it's going to appear right here. So let's go ahead and finalize this build now. And here it is. It's a winch car. Ideally, it's going to pick this thing up, and I don't know if that's going to work, but we're going to find out, and I think the guy who's going to find it out is Original Canadian. OC, into house. I think we're also going to wait for sunrise. Why do this at night? Okay, so go ahead and get yourself over here and get in this car. I have no idea how well this is going to work. But when has that stopped me before? Okay, your batteries are charging. And we can drive now. I really don't mind that the steering and everything is really low, because we're not going to be driving this thing very much. His entire purpose is to butt up against this thing, and then he never has to drive again. Okay, we're just gonna get our little car here. So it's up against this thing. And then we are going to put the brakes on. Whoever I get to first gets to do part of this. There you go, the drone. Oh, things are exploding. I hope that wasn't anything important. I hope that wasn't anything important. Okay, drone, your only job, and it's a very important job, is to not break the solar panels. Okay, we are going to grab the endpoint of this thing. We're going to attach it. Oh, you know what? I have a connector, but I don't have a thing to connect it to. Well, that's a problem. We got to build a couple of those. So, extraplanetary launch pads is hard. Okay, I am building a cubic octagonal strut with 4 radial connectors on it. It's only going to take like another 10 seconds to build, so I might as well do it. We have plenty of metal and rocket parts here to build whatever we want, and now that we have a lot of engineers, building those things is going to be a lot quicker, which is nice. And here's our little dinky cubic octagonal strut with 4 things on it. We need a person now. There you go. You're going to connect these for, I don't even know who this is. Sinner's Creed, you're going to grab one of these. And it's been a while since I've done this, but I think all you have to do is attach this thing, let's say here. Now, I believe you can plug it undocked. So there's that. We're going to attach that here, roughly equal in space to the other one. Then we're going to go up and get this winch. I have no idea if this is going to work. Have I mentioned that? This is mostly untested. I did test it with girders and stuff on the launch pad, But I did not test it with a rocket. Let's go ahead and grab the connector. And let's plug it undocked into here. Now you're going to get over here. And now it's the car's turn to, we need to show the GUI. And what we want to do is we don't want to extend, we want to retract. I should have expected that, actually. Hopefully it will, yeah, I should have thought of that. Let's have some fun. Let's turn the brakes off. Nope, we can't drive forward or backward. This might be a bust. Let's see, if I pull from farther out, I should have more torque. Okay, now stand to the side. And back to the car. Okay. Let's close some of these windows here. Kerbal alarm clock doesn't need to be up. Okay. Now, let's see, we got 13 point, so we'll get these guys both down to 13.24 and 13.28. So let's get them down to 13. Okay. Didn't seem to destroy it, so let's go down to 12.5. It's fighting me. 12.15. Oops. This is obviously not working the way I wanted to. Yeah, I should have realized that I would want this thing to be heavier on the back, which is really annoying. What I can do here is I can build yet another thing. I can attach some girders or something here. I might have to. I have to go back to the. I have to go back to Kerbal Space Center and test something. So this is a failure. But you see the idea. The idea is to get this thing to basically tip this thing up, bring it up here, and then detach these things really quickly, and then take off, because there'll be a pilot in the pilot seat who can hold SAS once he gets it up. But that ain't gonna happen right now. Also, this ship does have fuel in it, right? No, it has no fuel, so we'll have to use a little car or something to get some fuel. We could actually probably just pump fuel from this thing. But anyway, that's the idea of this. I'll fiddle more and I'll come back when I have another try. Okay, I totally launched from the surface of Duna. I'm getting close to wanting to be in orbit here, and then I realized I wasn't recording. I was actually talking into my mic. I didn't record video. I didn't record audio. I'm a moron. But we launched into an orbit. It's pretty garbage compared to the orbiting station. Not much we can do about that. It's just the way it's going to kind of be. We are going to fix the orbiting station so it's at least orbiting equatorially. But, our base is slightly north of the equator, and just the orbits are going to be like this. So we're coming up here to 47 kilometers above the surface. We are out of the atmosphere. We got a tiny little burn coming up here. That's going to get us actually into orbit. One thing we're definitely going to do is get our base above 60,000 meters. Probably we're going to put it at about 100, so we can be heftily above 60,000 meters, so that we can time warp more than 10 times. Nice thing about having a big, powerful engine on your ship is it does make rendezvousing a little bit easier. Okay, we're going to come to a complete stop here. Keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Okay, target control. Bringing up a decent amount of fuel, actually. It's more than will fit in the station, that's for sure. Okay, now we're going to... Oh, we can't aim at target. That's right. TMS didn't complete his training. Okay, that's looking good, although... Obviously, I overshot a little bit. Not a big deal, because we're coming in at 2 meters per second. Or, sorry, 2 decimeters per second. 0.2 meters per second. And there we go. Nice dock. Nice, easy, quick dock. TMS. We are dumping our fuel into this thing. No, we're not, because it has to be 6. And you are set. Now, the problem is, we're basically done on Duna. There's nothing else to do except for go back down and get more. And we don't need to go down and get more because you have this. Now, I do have a plan, and I don't know if it's going to work because I'm not 100% sure that there's a probe core on this thing. So I need to find that out first. So we're going to undock. And then Shiva is going to hop out here. He's going to camp out in space while TMS hops out of here and camps out in space. And then Shiva, wherever you are, is this Shiva? Yes. You are going to hop in the actual ship. And we're going to hit the letter T. And you have SAS. Sweet. Your mission is a go. TMS, get in the space station. Shiva came along. You probably don't know this. Even Shiva doesn't know this. Or whoever the viewer is that submitted the name Shiva. You are interested in Ike. You wanted to do some geology of Ike, or kerbology, or whatever you want to call it. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take this ship that has plenty of fuel in it. What you don't have is, I just noticed you don't have an engineering core, but we'll live. Actually, TMS, are you an engineer? Oh wait, no, TMS, there we go. This does have I was on the wrong thing. Shiva, you are going to go to Ike. You've got 1,600 meters per second of delta V, which, now that I'm wondering, is that enough? Let me check the thing here. No, it's not enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to redock. Yeah, because you're actually gonna fill up with fuel, at least a little bit. And who knows, this might make another trip to the surface worth it. Okay, what we're gonna do is we are going to set this guy to 6 and this guy to 6. And this guy's still at 0. So now these two guys have it's funny that this... Oh, he's a 6. So we're going to set these guys to 5. Although, honestly, that's probably enough. But you can never have too much fuel. Well, you can, but... let's go ahead and undock now and see what this guy looks like now. His delta V now is almost 5 grand. Yeah, that's plenty to get to Ike and back. So, because you're a scientist and you're not a pilot, you're going to take some extra fuel with you. But next episode, you are going to actually eject from this orbit here, go up to Ike, land, do some little sciencey things up there, and come on back. That way, we're going to get the Ike science contract completed, and you're going to fulfill your life's work, which I think is pretty cool. But that's going to be next episode, because I'm burned out. I've been playing for probably 3 hours total, and I've only recorded like an hour of it. And you're all probably going to see 20 minutes of it. But I hope you enjoyed watching this. I definitely enjoyed doing it. Next up, we're going to do this. We've also got the ships going to Eve. We are going to bring up more engineers. I'll probably train 10 more drones. And, also one other thing. Let's go to the Space Center. In addition to the 10 drones, I'm sending, I should say, I hired Dale the Goat Kerman. You're an engineer. You are probably next time I come out, you're either going to be on your way out or you'll already have your 3 stars. All you guys who are available are still sitting on Kerbin waiting to be sent. A lot of you people who are assigned are in the ship that's heading out either to Eve or to Minmus with the other stuff. I don't know what we're all going to... Ooh, I found a bug. I don't know what all we're going to be doing when we get to Minmus and everything, but I'm changing the goal of the series. The goal of the series was a base on every landable planet or moon. I'm changing that to a slightly less robust goal of 1 extraplanetary launchpad base and 1 carbonite base in every planet's sphere of influence. So basically Kerbin's done because we have both on Minmus. Eve, we're getting an extraplanetary launchpad base on Gilly, and then I'm going to build a carbonite base on Gilly. Duna, I've already got the carbonite base on Duna, and I'm going to build an extraplanetary launchpad base on Ike. And then we've got Jewel, Drez, Elu, and Moho that we've got to do the same thing to. And I'm still planning on taking an asteroid out to Jewel, but I haven't gotten any contracts for one. I'm not sure if it's just my reputation's too low or what. I think it's my reputation because I've been using reputation to buy other things. But eventually I'll get one of those. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I definitely enjoyed playing it. I am 5th Horseman, and I will drag John Droid around and talk at you later.